Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Witness. When we left off last time, we were looking at this panel on a door in the bottom of this ship. It's a panel that I had not noticed the first time that I had come to the ship, and it is not an environmental puzzle, no. It is a puzzle to open this locked door. What could possibly be inside this cabin in the bottom of this wrecked ship? We don't know. Hopefully, we'll find out. So, I was thinking that this puzzle probably had to do with audio cues, as we're hearing drips, and we're hearing like the moans and groans of the wrecked ship. And the hex dots, I'm sure, have to do with that, have to correspond with the tones. I believe the way it goes is that the big shapes, the big dots, are low tones, and the small ones are high tones. And we have these mid ones here as well. This puzzle also has a mirrored line. We start at one circle, and as we draw a line, a mirrored line is being created on the other side as well. So basically, I have to draw a line that is going to get a bunch of hex dots, and the same line, mirrored, is going to have to collect the rest of the hex dots. Seems like how this is going to have to go. So I was thinking about maybe analyzing the audio that we're hearing right now, trying to match it up to the size of the dots, but I figured, maybe that's not actually necessary, considering that we know that the solution to this puzzle is going to be that all of the hex dots have to be grabbed by a line, either the one I'm drawing or the mirrored line, and the two lines can't get in each other's way, otherwise they'll be blocked. You won't be able to make it to an exit. Considering these 2 points, I figure that there can't be that many potential solutions, right? You have to draw a line, grabbing hex dots. You have to make sure that the line you're drawing is also going to get the mirrored line to grab the rest of the hex dots. The two lines can't block each other, and they have to get to their respective exits. So there doesn't seem like there can be that many possible solutions to this. So I went to my notebook, started drawing up some solutions, and I'm just going to draw them right here. I don't know if they're right. I don't know if they correspond to the sounds or what. These are a few solutions that do end up grabbing all of the hex dots. So let's try them out and see if any of them are correct. I'm going to start here. I'm going to go to the right to grab that big pink hex dot, then one more, and then one more, and then up one, and then up two, and then that will make the invisible line grab the big orange hex dot, so that will get that. And then I want to go to the left, and I want to go up one, and then by doing that, I grab that pink hex dot. And I want to go to the left again, and then go down two. And I want to go to the left again. And now and by doing that, like going here, I grab, the invisible line will now grab the orange hex dot in the upper right. I'm just thinking about how this corresponds. I go to the left again, and I drag the line up here, grabbing that black dot, then up here, and now that will cause the invisible line to grab the black dot in the lower right-hand corner. I'll go to the right to grab that last hex dot, up and left. That was not it. So I did grab all the hex dots, I'm pretty sure, but I guess I did not do them in the order that corresponds to the sounds. Here's another possible one. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go all the way up, and then I'm going to go to the right, then I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to go to the right, then two up, then left, and then all the way up, and then over here, and I'm pretty sure that the mirrored line, the invisible line, has now grabbed those three remaining hex dots by doing that. Is this the correct solution? It is not. Okay. So those were two potential ones that go from the lower left to the upper left. Now let's try a couple that go from the lower left to the lower right. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go out to here, grab that. Then 1, 2, 3... then right, and then down. Now I believe I go all the way to the right, then down one, then left one, then down and to the exit, and I believe that will grab, the invisible line will have grabbed all of its hex dots. So is this the solution? It is not. So I only have one more that I've drawn, one more that I can try. Let's give it a try right now. Start here. Go up 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2 to the right, and then down 1, then left, then down to the bottom, then 1, 2 to the right, and then up 1, 2, then to the right 1, 2, 3, then down 1, then left 1, then down 1, then to the exit. And I believe doing that, the invisible line will have grabbed all of its hex dots. Is this the solution? It is not. So those were all 4 that I have drawn. None of them were the correct solution. They did not correspond with the hex dots, unfortunately. So I will have to now think up some more. Alright, let's try some more. I just spent a few minutes drawing a few more possible solutions, 4 more. And we're just going to draw them out. See if it does anything. See if any of them work, or if I need to go back to the notebook. So, first one that we have up here. So we're going to start in the lower left, and all of them that I'm doing, I'm starting in the lower left. I guess it wouldn't really matter, since it's the same line no matter where you draw it. But this one is going up to grab that black dot, then 2 to the right, then down, grabbing the purple dot. Then we're going to do a little bit of this. And then over here and down, grab that purple dot over here. Go over here to grab the black dot. And what do we have? No, we do not have it. So that one did not work. Another one to cross off. Next one from the notebook. Start here. Go up 1, up 2, up 3, then across, and let's get this dot. Now I'm going to go all the way over to the right and down to grab that black dot, and then all the way over to the left to grab that purple dot, and then all the way over to the right once again to the exit. How about this one? That one did not work. Let's go to the third in the notebook, which once again, we're starting here. This time we're going out to the right to grab the purple dot. Up 1, up 3 to grab the black dot. 2 to the right. And then we're going down. And then we're going down, going to the right. And then we're going down. Then to the right again, and down and to the right. How about this one? No, that one is wrong. One more to go. What about starting here, and then going to the right to grab the purple dot, then up, and then going all the way, actually not quite all the way to the right, because we're not grabbing that black dot. We're going to stop right before we get there. So the invisible line is able to grab its yellow hex dot, and now I'm going to go back this way, and go up to grab that purple dot, then 2 to the left, and now going all the way up to the upper left. What about this one? Nope, that did not work. So, time to head back once again to the notebook. Alright, hey, I'm back with the hottest puzzle solutions for that ass. I drew up 4 more solutions in the notebook. Let's try them out. Again, I'm just trying to cover all the hex dots. Get it so the two lines combined will cover all the hex dots without blocking each other. And, so far it hasn't worked so far, but I have 4 more solutions that should fulfill those rules. So let's see if any of them is actually the right one. We're starting off once again in the lower left-hand corner, going up to this black dot. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 down here. Go down, go right, go up, get that. 2, no, actually all the way up here. And then go over here and then down to get that hex dot. And then over to the exit. How about this one? No, that is not it. So, let us move on to the next. Once again, start in the lower right. This one's similar to the one I just did, but we're getting the dots in a slightly different order. Now we're going all the way up here, get the black dot, then that orange one, down to the right, down, right, up, all the way this time, and then all the way to the left. Jonathan Blow, is this the correct answer? It is not. So, next one, start here. This time, we're going to go more or less straight up. We're not going to go too far to the right. Going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, then up and left and down and around. How about this? No. Still no. Now, let's try this one. If this one doesn't work, I'm going to have to go back to the notebook once again. We're going to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Up 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Left 1, down 2, left 1, down 1, then left all the way to the left, and now going all the way up to the exit. And by doing this, the invisible line should have gotten all of those other hex dots. Is this the correct solution? No, it is not. More notebook is needed. You know, I'm starting to think, when I said that there could only be so many possible solutions for this, maybe I was wrong about that, considering that now I've gone through 12 possible solutions, in which the 2 lines would have grabbed all of the hex dots, and they did not block each other, and they did make it to their exits. 12 answers so far, and none of them have been the correct one. So it looks like that there are more potential solutions to this than I thought there was going to be. So, back to the notebook I go. All right. Let's try this again. Hopefully for the last time, because what I thought is maybe this wasn't working out so well, maybe just drawing the lines without considering the sounds wasn't actually getting me anywhere. So I just listened to the video of the recording without my voice so I could listen to these sounds, and this is basically what I'm thinking of. Okay. 2 kinds of sounds, drips and ship groans. So listen to them to try to figure out the sequence of how many sounds there are and what kind of tones there are in both. And after listening to it for a while, it seems like it is this, which I'm going to put up on the screen now. Drips, there seem to be only 3 sounds in the sequence. Low, high, and mid, and that just repeats rapidly. You hear a lot of drips, but it seems like it's just those 3 repeating again and again. The groans are a whole lot slower. It takes longer to hear the entire sequence, but it sounds like that there are 4 in the sequence. Goes mid, low, mid, high. Okay. So after figuring that, this made sense, because there are 7 sounds in total, and if you look at the grid, there are 7 hex dots. So that matches. So good. We're on a good track right now. And if you look at how many low tones there are 2. On the grid, the low would be the big hex boxes. And we can see that there are 2 of those. There's 1 yellow and 1 pink. So that matches up. The mid sounds, there are 3 of those. And there are 3 mid-sized hex dots, 2 yellow and 1 black. So, okay, again, it matches up. And there are 2 high tones and 2 small hex dots on the grid, 1 pink, 1 black. Okay, everything matches up so far. Wonderful. The only thing I wasn't really sure about is that there are 3 colors on the grid, yellow, pink, black, and only 2 kinds of sounds. I'm a little confused about that. But what I'm thinking, if we take a look at the pink dots, there are 2, right? There's a low and there's a high. We take a look at the yellow, there are 3, 1 low and 2 mid. Now, you could complete the sequence for these sounds if you added 1 black dot to either of those, right? So say for the drips, if I got 1 big hex dot, then 1 small hex dot, and then I got the medium-sized black hex dot. That would complete the sequence of the drips. Low, high, mid. And for the yellows, if I got one medium, one big, one medium, and then I got the small hex dot in the lower right-hand corner, that would complete the sequence for the groans. I don't know why it would be like that. Why would there be black dots instead of just pink and yellow? I don't know, maybe that's just to add another element of confusion. But for right now, I'm thinking that's gotta be what it is, because there are not enough dots in the pink or the yellow to actually complete either of these sequences. But if I add a black dot to each of them, there suddenly are enough dots to complete these sequences. So I tried drawing a solution that would keep this in mind, and this is what I came up with. So, okay, my 13th solution, lucky number 13. This one, actually considering what the sounds are, will this be it? Let's find out. We're going to draw on the pink dots. I'm going to get this pink dot right here to get low by moving it all the way to the right, and then moving it up one. The invisible line will now get the yellow dot in the upper left-hand corner. That will be mid for ship groaning. Now, let's see. I need to move 2 to the left, and then up 1. And then by doing that, the invisible line will get the big yellow hex dot, which is the low tone for the groans. And now I'm going to move to the left, and then up 1, and then my visible line gets the small pink hex dot for the high tone of the drips. Now I need to go left again, and then down 2, and then by doing that, the invisible line will now get the hex dot, the yellow dot in the upper right-hand corner, which is medium, so medium for groans. Then I go left, and now I go up and get this black medium hex dot right here for the mid-tone of the drips, completing the drip sequence. And by continuing to go up, now the invisible line grabs the small hex dot in the lower right-hand corner, completing the sequence for groans. Is this actually the solution? Okay. I would have been kind of upset if that was not the solution, because I put some thought into that, actually, and I wouldn't have been able to think of what else this could be if this was not actually it. Oh, there's a box, right? Is this a movie puzzle? A movie solution? Wouldn't be surprising. Yep, it is. Okay. Shouldn't be surprising that that is what this is. After all, we still do have 2 blank slots in the movie theater. I guess 2 more movies to watch, so let me just draw this down. As I have done previously, I'm just going to draw down what this movie solution is gonna be. And we all love the movies that we have seen in The Witness. Actually, it does seem that the last one we watched was quite popular. That physics lecture with a rather charismatic speaker. Will the next one we see be as popular? Well, who can say? Who can say indeed? Almost done drawing down. Okay. All right. It's not a great drawing, but okay. I've drawn the movie solution that we're going to use. So I guess we're going to head back to the movie theater at some point and see what we can see. And speaking of seeing what we can see, since we're in this room that was so thoroughly locked up, I wonder if I can see any environmental puzzles through here. Will this give me any perspective that I could use? It kind of looks like there's like a table or a box here. I mean, I guess it's not anything. But it's kind of conspicuous here. I'm not sure why. Not sure why it's there. Well, I'm not seeing anything right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was something that was available to click on from this room. But I'm not seeing it right now. But what I am seeing is a completed puzzle. Yes, that is what I'm seeing. And what I'm also seeing in my notebook is a movie solution. So I guess we should head back we should head back to the windmill, to the movie theater, and see what this has for us. So I think I've gotten all the environmental puzzles that I can think of on this ship. I mean, who knows if that's actually everything, right? Let's just take maybe another look around. Like, that kind of looks like something, but it doesn't have the proper end to it, right? So maybe I have gotten everything that I can get. I suppose we can always go back to the obelisk, see what that has to say. If there's anything on there that's quite obvious that I missed. As for right now, though, I am not really seeing anything. I've gotten all the lines that I have seen. There hasn't been anything that I have seen and I have not been able to get. Not on the ship, anyway. I mean, of course, there is this. I pointed this out last time. This is obviously a thing, and I have not been able to get it. But something that I did realize that I didn't realize last time is that that's not the end of it, is it? That's the end of it. Try if I can get that on screen. So on one of the obelisks, there was a line that was broken into two pieces. So this has got to be it. Like, this is the same like shape, same configuration that it was in on the obelisk, which is weird because, like with every other puzzle like this, I would just stand in the proper place, get the correct perspective, and draw a continuous line. But the obelisk did not show a continuous line. It showed like it stops and then restarts right here. So how do you get the cursor? How do you teleport the cursor from here to get to that line, right? It's like there's nothing between it. It seems like this is the perspective I should be standing on because this is what it looks like on the obelisk. I need to get something behind the circle, right, to cover up that blue and make it a full circle. But how do I get the cursor from one point to the other without actually drawing a line? How do I move it, right? That kind of looks like an octopus, doesn't it? Another perspective thing. Yeah, I was looking at this before wondering, are there any circles and lines here? Because a lot of lines. I don't think there are. I think it's just that, hey, that rock and those two rocks and these squiggly lines looks like an octopus. It's not a thing, I guess. Yeah, if you look at that circle over there, it's certainly not a circle at all. I have to stand in the proper place for it to be a circle. And I did try at one point getting in the boat, and like I came around from there and like went around to see what this looks like from behind. You can't see the line from behind, like it's painted on this side of it, so you can't draw it from the other side. Oh, it's the boat, right? It's the boat, isn't it? It's the boat. It's the boat, isn't it? The boat is going to move. It's not going to move me. The boat is going to move the cursor, isn't it? The cursor goes for the ride, not me. I stand in the one place. I haven't tried that. I haven't tried using the boat without actually being in the boat. Where would be a good place? Because I want to have enough time. I'm going to go to the town and activate the boat, because I want to have enough time to get back to that castle. So I want it to like be at a further point away. I want it to go slowly, because I'm going to need some time to head back. Is that actually it? I'm assuming something here. I'm assuming that you can activate the boat without actually being in it. Because you don't actually have to be right up against a puzzle to activate it. And the side of that boat is orange. I never thought about it, but this is an orange boat. Alright. I would want it to approach from the right. Like that. And I want to slow it down. There we go. Yeah, it's going. It's moving. Okay, the boat can move on its own. Is it Yeah? That boat is heading off without me in it. Why did I never think to try that before? I never even considered activating the boat without me standing in it. It never even crossed my mind before, because why would it? Why would you even try to do that? What purpose would there be to making the boat go somewhere without you in the boat? That seems silly. But I guess maybe it actually has a purpose. Maybe it actually does. I hope I get there in time. I mean, it's gonna be traveling at its slowest speed. So I should have enough time to make it. Let's see. Yeah, I wanna... Yeah, go this way, down here, across this, through here, across through here, get over here, go through here, out here, down here. I'm going to need to stand over here. Okay, I don't see the boat coming yet. Let me see if I can see it in the distance. I guess this is as far as I can go. That kind of looks like the end of a line right there. Maybe I didn't need to get that much distance, actually. Because I don't see it. It's gonna take a little while, I guess, before it gets here. So let me just make sure I'm standing in the right position. Okay, it's sparking. This has got to be the right position. This has got to be it. So, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm just gonna wait here and wait to see that boat coming around the corner. Okay, I'm not really sure what happened. I was waiting there for a while, and the boat never came. I don't know why. If you get far enough away from the boat, I wonder if the boat unloads out of memory or something? I wouldn't think so, especially since this does seem like how you're supposed to solve that, but... Let me see. So what I said was I wanted it to go here, which was... That's the quarry. It never showed up there. It never showed up the quarry, and I didn't see it go by the wrecked boat. So I don't know what happened to this boat after I ran away from it, but I'm going to try this again. We're at a slightly closer location to where we need to be, so I'm going to just do what we did again. Stand out here, activate this boat, tell it to go there, and let's just have it go at half speed instead of its slowest speed. Let's have it go at half speed. And let me just, make sure it leaves the dock. Yeah, there it goes. Just keep that boat in sight, maybe. Because I don't know what happened. Got too far away from it, and it vanished. Alright, so I'm going to... Yep, there it is. Hasn't disappeared or anything. I'm looking at it. It's right there. Nope, still there. I guess when you're looking at it from a distance, it really does go slower than it seems when you are actually in the boat. Even though I did have it on its slowest speed the first time, I don't think I missed it. I was waiting. Nothing happened. It never showed up. I took a look at the water between the town and the ship, but no boat. I went to the quarry to see if it had arrived at its destination. No boat. Boat was nowhere to be found. I'm not really worried about being able to get to where I need to be in time, considering, how long this is taking. But I'm just going to sort of, maybe look around, see if we can see any circles and lines or anything. Of course, we already got that one. That was a long one. Had to use the boat. Had to be in the boat to see that one, but this time we are not in the boat. The boat is moving on its own with no passenger. You can do it, boat. You can do it. I already got that one, too. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's vanishing. I don't think it is. All right, so maybe I'm just going to head back to the... Does it seem like its position is kind of resetting? I mean, maybe that's just an illusion. No, it's getting closer. It's getting closer to it. All right, I guess I'm just going to head back to the wrecked ship, take my position, wait for this boat to go by the pieces of metal, and hopefully it will create a circle and a line. And I'm going to assume that the boat is going to carry the cursor. It's going to carry it over to the other second part of the line, and that is how we are going to get that done, is what I'm thinking is going to happen. It's why I'm doing this to begin with. Hopefully that is how this turns out, and we'll find out in a few minutes. Well, you'll find out in a few seconds, probably, because we're about to cut to it right now. Here it comes. Here comes the boat. The boat is approaching. The boat has rounded the corner. That boat is definitely the same shade of orange as this line. It is definitely it. I just need the boat to go right behind it. I need it to fill out this circle. Come on, boat. Boat, I believe in you. I love you, boat. Please, make it happen. Make my dreams come true, boat. Get right in there. Boat, you're doing it. Keep going, boat. Boat, all of my hopes and beliefs are with you. Carry my cursor across the ocean. Boat, you're doing it. You're carrying the cursor across. You have a passenger of one, and it is not me, but it is my cursor. As it approaches the second part of the line, the boat has fulfilled its destiny, and it rings its bell in acknowledgement. Thank you, boat. You did well. The boat goes off to its destination. Proud boat. Brave boat. The boat that has fulfilled its duty. And that line has finally been solved. Don't be attacked by the rock octopus boat. Don't be attacked by it. I wonder if there's any other line and circle that you use the boat to solve in that way, or if that is just sort of a singular puzzle. Either way, I'm glad that we have finally solved it. And I guess, since we've now done that, and since we do have that one movie solution that we found in the wrecked ship, I guess what we're going to do now is we are going to head to the town, to the windmill, underground, to the movie theater, as we do, to watch wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movies that will give us enlightenment and impart wisdom unto us from the mind of John. Well, not the mind of Jonathan Blow. He didn't make the movies, but I guess he's fans of them. Fans of the people involved in the movies. And the lessons that they have to teach. And there still is a third line I need to get on that windmill. I had trouble with it the first time round, so I got to get back to that at some point. Since I know the line's there, I'm just not really sure how you're supposed to draw it. Get down here. This part is... What is this? This room is still closed. It's like a part of the underground here that I have not been able to access. I don't know how you do that. But it's not something that I'm going to do now, I assume, because what I'm going to do now, I have 2 empty panels. Going to fill one of them in. All right, let me get back to my notebook where I drew down the solution. So for this movie, looks like we're going to start here. Go up and up and up, and then down and down and left and down and right and down and up and right. And this will activate the movie.
Know yourself as the open, empty, luminous presence of awareness. Open because you say yes unconditionally and indiscriminately to all appearances of the mind, body, and world. Like empty space, you have no mechanism inherent within you that can resist any appearance. We don't have to make this the case, it is already the case. Empty, because although you, I, this aware presence, is aware of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, it is not made out of a thought, a sensation, or a perception. It is made out of pure knowing or awareness. And luminous, because just like the sun, relatively speaking, that renders all objects seeable, so you, I, this open, empty presence, renders all experience knowable. In fact, we don't really see objects, relatively speaking, illumined by the sun. We just see reflections or modulations of the sun's light, appearing as a multiplicity and diversity of color. In the same way, we don't really know the objects of the mind, body, and the world. We just know our knowing of them. All we know, all that is known, is the knowing of experience. And you are that knowing. All that is ever known is a modulation of our own knowing presence, modulating itself in the form of thinking, sensing, and perceiving, and seeming to become a mind, a body, and a world. But we never actually know a mind, a body, and a world as they are normally conceived. We just know our knowing of them. And this knowing, the substance of our experience, the only substance of our experience, is ourself. In other words, we know ourself alone. Awareness knows nothing other than itself. Be knowingly this open, empty, luminous presence of awareness. We don't need to do anything special to make this happen. Above all, we don't have to manipulate the mind in any way whatsoever to be this presence of awareness. This presence of awareness, which is simply our self, what we refer to when we say I, is ever present. Just check this in your own experience. Nothing that I am saying this evening, there is nothing that cannot be checked in your own direct experience right now. I bring no special knowledge to this meeting. I don't have a store of knowledge which I am disseminating. I'm just, within the limits of language, trying to describe the current experience. Ask yourself, do I know anything other than now? Try to experience the not now. Try first to experience the past. It's easy to experience a thought about the past. But what about the actual past to which this thought refers? Try to experience that. Can you step into the past? Can you go 1 second into the past? Or 1 second into the future? Thought can go there. But what about you? Really try to go there to make sure that this is not just an interesting philosophical conversation, but that it is actually your experience. That the past and the future are never experienced. And if the past and the future are never actually experienced, they are only thought about. And that thought about the past and the future is always now. If this past and future are never experienced, what does that say about time? Time is a movement between a non-existent past towards a non-existent future. It's a theory, a necessary and valid theory, but a theory that doesn't refer to the reality of our experience. Nobody has ever or could ever experience time. When I say nobody, I mean yourself, awareness, the only one that knows or is aware. when I arrived off the plane from London in Washington, D.C. last weekend before coming here. The friend who picked me up asked me how the flight was, and she said, "How long did it take?" And I experienced thought being cranked up like an old motor, a little resistant to get going. And for a moment, I could feel the cogs of thought almost moving, trying to work out how much time the flight had taken. Because in my experience, it had been now all the way. I had never left London. London had left me. I had never got onto an aeroplane, a flow of sensations and perceptions that thought abstracts and calls a body in an aeroplane, flowed through me. And I never arrived in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. arrived in me, or at least the cluster of perceptions that thought calls Washington, D.C. arrived in me. In the same way, nobody ever walked into this room, and nobody is sitting on a chair, and nobody is listening to a talk. A colourful flow of sensations and perceptions appears in awareness. But awareness never goes anywhere or does anything. It is always here and now, not here a place and now a time. Here, this dimensionless, now this timeless presence of our own being. That is our experience, whether we recognize it or not. Now the mind may feel a little rebellious when it hears this. It may say, yes, 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 that's true, but there is an undeniable continuity to my experience. And this undeniable continuity would seem to be evidence of time. Where does this felt sense of continuity come from? All we know of the mind is the current thought or image. And thoughts and images are intermittent. The body is known through sensation, and all sensations are intermittent. All we know of the world is perception, that is, sights, sounds, tastes, textures, and smells. In fact, nobody has ever experienced a world as such, a world as it is normally conceived to be. We just know the current perception, and all perception is intermittent. So if the so-called mind, body, and world are intermittent, from where does this felt sense of continuity come from? It comes from the only thing, if we can call it a thing, that is truly continuous, or in fact not continuous, but ever present now in our experience, and that is our own being, the presence of awareness. The presence of awareness is the only thing that is known to be ever present. Now the mind knows nothing of awareness, because the mind only knows apparent objects. So when the mind looks at experience to find what it is that accounts for continuity, it cannot see awareness. And so it manufactures a substance called time to account for the continuity of experience. In other words, continuity in time is what eternity looks like when viewed through the narrow slit of the mind. Permanence in space is what the infinite, unlimited nature of awareness looks like when viewed through the narrow slit of the mind. Continuity and permanence are pale reflections at the level of the mind of the true, eternal and infinite nature of awareness, that is, of our self. What else can we say about ourselves from our actual experience? Which means right now, what can we know for certain about ourselves? Not what thought may tell us about ourselves, but what we actually know in this moment, derived only from our experience of ourself. Ask yourself, can I, this open, empty, knowing presence, can I be agitated? Thought can be agitated. Sensations, or the body, can be agitated. The world can be agitated. But what about you, the one that knows the apparent mind, body, and world? Can you, this open, empty presence, be agitated? See, in your experience right now, that you are, and this of course is just an image, are like an open, empty space, such as the space of this room. Nothing that appears within this room can agitate it. We are all sitting peacefully now, but if we were to stand up and start dancing or fighting, would the space of this room become agitated? You are like that. You, I, the presence of awareness, are undisturbable, imperturbable. We don't need to become imperturbable, and this undisturbability of ourself is not dependent upon the condition of the mind. Right now, you, awareness, are utterly imperturbable, and for this reason, another name for ourself is peace. Peace is not a quality that ourself has, it is what ourself is. Not peace of mind. Minds are more or less agitated. This peace that passeth understanding, that is not of the mind. It doesn't have to be sought, it is not hiding in the background of experience. This very awareness that is seeing, hearing, knowing, is pure peace itself, shining in all experience, however apparently agitated that experience may be. Ask yourself, can I, this presence of awareness, ever lack something? Thoughts can say that something is missing. Feelings can say that something is missing. But what about you? Without referring to thought or feeling, is there the slightest motive in you to avoid the now and replace it with the not now? See that in yourself, this presence of awareness, there is not the slightest impulse or possibility to avoid the now. And what do we call this absolute absence of resistance to the now? The absolute absence of resisting what is and seeking what is not. What is the common name we give to this? It is called happiness. We all know that when we are happy, we are by definition not resisting the now and seeking in the past or the future. By happiness, of course, I do not mean a pleasant state of the mind or the body. I mean this absolute impossibility of ourself ever to resist or seek. To resist what is and to seek what is not. So happiness, like peace, is just another name for ourself. It is not a quality that ourself has, it is what ourself is. What else can we say for certain, based on this current experience about ourselves? When I was driving here, or being driven here, the day before yesterday, from the airport in San Francisco, I was looking in the wing mirror of the passenger seat, and I noticed the words inscribed at the bottom of the wing mirror. And they said, "Objects in the mirror are closer than you think." A statement of pure non-duality. Objects that appear in the mirror of consciousness are closer than we think. How close to a mirror are the objects that appear in it? Are there in fact two things? One, the objects that appear in the mirror, and two, the mirror? Or is it all just mirror? All we know of the apparent mind is the experience of thinking. And thinking is just a modulation of yourself, a modulation of knowing or awareness. All we know of the apparent body is the experience of sensing. And sensing is a modulation of yourself, awareness. All we know of the apparent world is the experience of seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. These are all modulations of knowing, modulations of ourself. In other words, we never truly know a mind or a body or a world. These labels are just abstractions that thought superimposes on the intimacy of our experience. From the point of view of experience, which is the only real point of view, experience is much closer, much more intimate. So close as to not admit the possibility of two things. One, myself, awareness, and two, the object that I know. Even that is an abstraction. It may be a useful stepping stone, a halfway understanding to conceive of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions arising in awareness. But nothing arises in awareness. The only substance of all experience, the only substance of thinking, sensing, and perceiving is already awareness. What do we call this absolute absence of two things? A subject that knows and an object that is known. Take now the experience of hearing. Go to the sound of the air conditioning. Forget about the labels sound and air conditioning. Our only knowledge of the apparent air conditioning is the experience of hearing. How close does hearing take place to you? 5 meters away? 10 meters away? Refer only to your experience, not to what thought tells you about sound. Where is hearing? Is it close? Intimate? And in the experience of hearing, can you find two parts? One part that hears, and another part that is heard? Or is it just one seamless, intimate substance called myself? And what about this room? Thought says, I, the inside self in here, sees the room, the outside world, out there. But what does experience say? All we know of the apparent room is the experience of seeing. Remove seeing, and the room vanishes. In other words, we don't know a room. We just know the experience of seeing. Does seeing take place 5, 10, 15 meters away from yourself? Or is seeing utterly intimate? And can you find two parts to the experience of seeing? One part that sees, and another part that is seen? Or is it just one seamless, intimate substance? And what is the name, the common name we give to the absolute intimacy of all experience? It is called love. Love is the most familiar experience that we all know, the collapse or dissolution of the sense of a self in here and an object, other, or world out there. The collapse of this sense of separateness, distance, otherness, not me-ness, is what we call love. love is just another name for non-duality. If we call it non-duality, there's just a few thousand of us in the world that are interested in it. But if we call it love, or peace, or happiness, then all 7 billion of us are interested in it. So why is it, if love, peace, happiness are the natural condition of all experience, the substance out of which all experience is made, how is it that it seems not to be experienced? It is because of a single thought that rises in awareness, made only of awareness, which imagines that awareness shares the limits of the thoughts, feelings, and sensations that appear within it. It is like imagining that a mirror shares the limits of the objects that appear in it. With that thought alone, the ever-present, unlimited awareness, which is what we are, seems to acquire or take on the apparent limits of the body and the mind, just as the screen seems to take on the limits of an image when a film begins. As a result of this imaginary collapse or contraction of our self-unlimited, eternal awareness into a body and a mind, these qualities of love, peace, and happiness are seemingly veiled. And it is for this reason that the self, the separate self that thought imagines us to be, is always, by definition, on a search in the imaginary outside world for the apparently lost love, peace, and happiness. However, this imaginary inside self cannot, by definition, find the love that it seeks, because its very presence, its apparent presence, is the veiling of that love. All the separate self seeks is love. In fact, the separate self is not an entity that searches, it is the activity of resisting the now and seeking the not now. All this seeking ever wants is love. But love is the dissolution of this seeking, the dissolution of this imaginary self. In other words, the separate self that seeks love is like a moth that seeks a flame. The flame is all the moth wants, but it is the only thing it cannot have. Because as the moth touches the flame, it dies. That is its way of knowing the flame. It becomes the flame as it touches it. That is the separate self's way of finding love, by dying in it. The death or dissolution of the separate self is the experience of love. So simply be knowingly this open, empty, luminous presence of awareness, whose nature, whose inherent nature is love, peace, and happiness. Not a love, peace, and happiness that is in the background of experience that has to be sought, but that is shining in full view at the heart of all experience. In fact, experience is made out of this substance called peace or happiness.
Woof. That was a long one. How long was that? That was definitely a lot longer than any of the previous ones. I feel like I must have been watching that for at least a half an hour. Huh. I mean, it was mostly about perception and how much you can be aware of with your own experience, and about love. About love is kind of what it was anyway. So, oof, that was, I wonder, why was that so long? Like, everything else was pretty short in comparison to that one. There's still one more to go. We have gotten 5. There is a 6th panel. A 6th password that we need to complete our movies, to complete our movie watching. And we still have these lines right here. I'm still not really sure what these are about. Got 2 of them here. Well, I am not really thinking about that right now, I guess. Because I don't really know what to do with them. It's like there's sort of, like you have a little bit of that coming off the edge right there, but why is that? It's like that's not actually part of this line. Then you have this circle coming off right there. Where would the other part of the circle be? That's not going to line up. Yeah, that's not going to make a complete circle. Alright, so, oof, I wonder if I'm actually going to have that entire video in the video. That might just be too long to show just from start to end. I'm gonna have to take a look at that video and just see how long that actually was. See how long it was, and if I want to show that whole thing. But okay, we have completed that. We are done with 5 out of 6 videos, and now I guess I'm just going to head back up to the surface, and I'm going to see what else I can see, what other puzzles I can find, what other environmental puzzles I may be able to come across, because I guess I'm done with the wrecked ship, at least for now. I don't know if I've gotten all the puzzles, but I think I'm done with that for right now. So I'm going to head off, and I'm going to see what else I just might be able to find. Hey, what is that, by the way? Like this catwalk above me. Never really looked at it before, I guess. It goes over that door. But I guess if you can get on that catwalk, you can then go up some stairs. It doesn't come out here, no. You can go up some stairs, and I don't know where that goes. I don't know where that leads to. But it goes to the other side of this, and I can't open this door. And I don't know where those stairs come out. I haven't seen the passage that leads into there. But I guess as I wander around the island, I'll keep an eye out. Just try to figure out how that happens, how you find that. And, yeah, I will now continue just going on my way, trying to find environmental puzzles.